visionaries. Welcome to another Monday Night Live training, where your journey to business success accelerates. Join us for insights, strategies, and tools to elevate your business while keeping your budget in mind. It's time to transform your passion into profit. Your host, Corey von Bill Foster, is about to take the stage. Get ready to be inspired and empowered. The future of your business starts now.
All right. I love that the future of your business starts now. Like I didn't write the script, but I like it anyway. It still excites me. Every year I try to change it up and do something different. And I think that's my best one yet. I think next year it'll be hard to top that intro, but we gonna do it. All right, but hi guys. Happy Monday Night Live. No, happy July. I think this is our first. Yeah, it's our first Monday Night Live in July. We are now in the middle of the year. This is month 7. So we're kind of right in the middle here. A lot of us have a lot of things on our plate. Let's address the elephant in the room. A lot of us, especially the moms out here, are trying to do a lot this summer. I know that I've had this conversation with a lot of clients about kind of juggling these summer months, right? You want to really get the most out of them. You have all these hours of sunlight. You're trying to really push this business forward, go to all the conventions, conferences, webinars, look at those courses that have been sitting in the back for forever. Like, you're trying to do all that, but you're also trying to be like a present parent, a present spouse, go to the water park, do all the things. So shout outs to you guys for making it do what it do, and getting all the things done, because it isn't easy. I have been in that struggle bus myself. Literally this morning, I dropped my kiddo off at camp. When he comes back, he'll be starting his summer internship. And then last week, I was like, we got to have a little bit of fun. So we went to an amusement park, and I'm tired. I'm tired, y'all. If you tired too, you can drop a "I'm tired" in the chat so we can keep each other lifted in prayer. Because yes, while the summer is a great time because maybe there's not as many school things to run into, there's still a lot. It's a lot, y'all. And it is not for the weak. But that's the beauty of living, right? We don't live just to work. We live to be able to experience life in all of its abundance. And so that's what I have to keep reminding myself, like, girl, we okay. We okay. We gonna make it. But shout out to you guys, and also thoughts and prayers for all of you guys that are out here dealing with this crazy weather. I know Texas got hit pretty hard recently. Let me see. Oh, there we go. Texas got hit pretty hard recently, along with, I think, like North Carolina. I don't watch the news, but every time I see something, here or there, I just want to acknowledge, that hopefully you all are doing well, and that you are safe, because it's crazy out here. All right. I'm just making sure, I'm yapping with y'all and saying my salutations, because I'm trying to give people a chance to get in the room with us, but also so that I can make sure all my stuff is up where it needs to be. All right, let me just send a message to LinkedIn, and then we're going to get started. All right, let's see here. All right. Here we go. Oh, and shout outs to my TSP fam. I think I might have done one. Have I done a live since I've been back? I don't think so, because I think I came back last Wednesday. The time is running together, but shout out to you guys. I know that there's a few new folks in the community and on some of our social media from TSP. Shout out to you guys, because y'all are always holding your girl down. So thanks for tuning in, whether you're watching live or the replay. And I think we're ready. We're ready to start. All right, so this month we're going to be focusing on sales, which I'm so excited about. And not to say the things we've talked about up until this point didn't help you with sales. We're just going to be really clear on sales processes and how to increase your sales and what are you selling, all that fun stuff this month. I really love that our Monday Night Lives kind of have a theme for each month. So if you're new here, we do a live every single Monday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And each month kind of has a theme, because I don't like keeping folks for too long. Like I was raised Baptist, church lasts all day. We're not trying to do this. So 30, 45 minutes max, we kind of dive into a topic, and it allows us to kind of understand the value of the topic, get some practical skills, some do's and don'ts, and then have something to implement for that week, right? That's kind of our structure. And each week kind of builds. And then at the end of the month, we kind of wrap it up in a nice bow. And this month I actually have something special for you guys, that I'll talk about at the end. So make sure you stay to the end to hear kind of what's special about this, because I am very passionate about sales. Like, people like to glaze over this and talk about the mindset and the marketing and all the stuff, but sales is how you stay in business. I know some people are like, well, I didn't get into business just to make money. The key word is just to, but you still got to make some. Yeah, right? Lights got to be paid for, phones got to stay on, like all the things. And so we have something, like I said, special for you guys to really help move you forward. And that'll be end of the month, early next month, but we'll talk about that in a moment. All right, so what are we talking about tonight, right? Specifically, let me get my little slides up here so we can get started. And so the topic for tonight is called, are you selling or just talking? And I'm just looking at the camera when I say that. Are you selling or are you just talking? And we're going to talk about how to communicate value and close the deal. And I want you guys to be really honest with yourselves on this talk, because some of you are like, I be selling, but it's like, even if you are making some sales, what is your conversion rate? So if you do sales calls, how many sales calls does it take you to land a client? Or if you just have a landing page, or if you're, marketing an event, like, out of everybody who sees it, how many people actually convert, right? Because we're trying to increase that rate. It's not just about, oh, you make a sale a month, right? Yay, that's better than nothing, but we want to increase the sales and we want consistent sales. All right, so don't get in your feelings. We're here to grow and learn together. All right, but before we dive in, I always like to take a moment and kind of introduce myself, let you know who this chick is talking to you. So hi there, whether you're new or returning. My name is Corey Famba Foster, and I'm a speaker, I'm a trainer, I'm a certified business coach that specializes in all things business implementation. So we're about you executing and getting things done. And I'm also the CEO of iRock Marketable Business Solutions, which is a small business marketing firm based out of Virginia, but servicing clients like coaches and consultants, speakers, and authors from coast to coast. We've been around now for 6+ years, and we really love what we do. We love the understanding that we can empower our clients with education. We can also give them practical tools. We are always challenging them. And then we also have clients who are ready for dump free services. So we love that we can also support them in that vein as well, by actually creating the things that they have had the vision for, whether it be a website, a logo, a landing page, social media management, what have you. We are here and able to support you on that as well. So if that sounds like, hey, this girl sounds pretty cool, stay tuned, stay with us. And remember that, again, every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are here wherever you are watching this broadcast from, and we are just giving you value, and it's free. So why not tune in? Like, grab your dinner, grab your popcorn, notebook, pen, whatever you want, and let's dive into this. All right. So what are we going to be covering tonight? Well, in the next 30 minutes or so, you're going to learn to recognize barriers to effective selling, because it's important. They're there. You're going to learn how to communicate value clearly to your target audience, and you're going to gain strategies for closing sales without sounding pushy and salesy. And I used to say, sounding like a used car salesman, but my mom recently got a car, and she said them people was wild. So I don't even think we that far. Honestly, I think most of us are not selling enough, and it's not even like how we're saying what we're saying. So a lot of us aren't even getting to the phase where it's like, oh, that's kind of icky. Some of you aren't saying a thing. You're just hoping that people like you so much and they're so engaged that they're like, hey, I'm going to give you some money, right? If you build it, they will come mentality. And that's not the typical case. I'm not saying it doesn't happen every blue moon, but a lot of the time people need to be sold. They need to know how they can work with you, how they can experience you in order to purchase. So we're going to get down to the nitty gritty with that today. All right. Because the truth is, a lot of you are just talking. And we're gonna make sure that we selling today. All right. That always be selling. That's the phrase we want to say. So the first question for you guys for tonight is, are you educating your audience or actually offering them a way to work with you? Right? So are you educating? Like, this is an educational program, right? We do a lot of education every Monday. So are you doing a ton of this, or you maybe are sending emails to just educating? Are you doing YouTube videos, more education? Are you out here talking to people, educating? Or are you actually being like, hey, um, let's do some business, right? Because education is good. I don't want you to not educate, but there has to be a bit of a balance, right? Because talking about what you do is not the same as inviting someone to experience what you do, right? Like this 30 minutes, it's fun, and let's say we get a lot done, but it is not the same as a one-on-one coaching session with me. Not by we're different galaxies. The amount of work we can do with one-on-one in an hour far surpasses me being able to give information to the masses in 30 minutes. Because you got to think about it. When I'm doing these lives, right? I try to use myself as an example because you're experiencing this right now, right? If you're with me. So if you're up here right now, because I'm not able to know beforehand exactly where each person is as it relates to the topic, I always kind of start broad and then narrow it down. And then I kind of try to keep it general enough that whomever is watching can gain some insight from it, right? That's the way you do these types of things. Now, of course, they're geared to my target audience, but even within a target audience, there are different people with different skill sets, different needs, challenges, etc. And so because of that, a lot of times by the end, you're not getting every question you have answered. You haven't done every move. There may have been pieces that you already knew about that we kind of just went over, and it was like, okay, well, I knew that already. So we didn't even spend enough time on what you really are looking for. And that's just the nature of the beast of talking to the multiple people, right? But when you're able to really dive deep one-on-one or in a small group where everybody started at point A and everybody's trying to get to point B, we can really dive deep. We can really get our hands dirty. We can really sink our teeth into it. And so it's just a very different experience. And so you want to make sure that, yes, education is good, whether it be, to everyone or to few, but you also have to invite people to really experience the expertise, the amazingness, your zone of genius that you do, so that they can be able to move forward in whatever they're trying to achieve, whatever you help them. All right, let's get our scenario out the way because I love to kind of shift our mindset quickly. Like you get one slide to shift your mindset. Ready? All right, let's do it. All right, you've got an offer. Okay, you're showing up. You're posting and sharing, but the conversations the conversions are not coming in. Why is that? Because you might be talking, but not actually selling. So the reason why we put the scenarios up here is because we want you to put yourself into your business's shoes, right? Because some of us kind of, when we watch things or when we're in education mode, it's like, okay, this is just information for whomever. But I want you to really sit in that for a second. You have worked your butt off to create an offer. And you know what? I dare say it's a great offer, right? You really have created a framework. You have tested it. You know it really helps solve somebody's problem. It can change people's lives. You're like, yes, 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 right? You're showing up, right? Whether it's group coaching, whether it's ed consulting, whatever the case may be, you are ready to go. You are built for this. You are ready to give all that you have to support them. You're posting, you're sharing, right? You're doing all the things you're supposed to be doing, but you're noticing that the money's not coming in. People are not swiping their card. They're not saying yes to the events. And you're thinking like, what the heck is going on? And it's because you've been doing a lot of talking, but you haven't actually been selling, right? You haven't been telling them, hey, this is how you purchase. Let's do business. Buy now, sign up now, register now, right? And you haven't been doing it in a way that leads to conversions. And if you're sitting in this moment and you're saying, that sounds like me, then you are in the right place because we're going to help you out. We are going to help you out. Tonight, we're going to uncover why your sales conversions might not be converting the way you want to. We're going to be getting some practical, clear, and honest. We're going to have some practical, clear, and honest conversations so that we can start making confident offers and closing more deals, right? If you're down for that, let's go ahead and get into it, right? Enough talking, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. All right, so question for you. Are you holding back from selling because you feel too uncomfortable? And I've met probably maybe 1/3 of the clients I work with who really are struggling with conversions. This is probably them. They feel uncomfortable asking people to spend money, right? Because this is their mindset about it. They're like, I don't want to ask people for money. Flip that, right? Because I always have to ask them, is what you're selling going to help them? They say yes. All right. Is what you're offering worth the value you're selling it for? Yes. Is it a good product or offer? Yes. Then if it's something that's going to be positive in their lives, it's going to help them move from point A to point B, it's appropriately priced, so you're not just out here taking advantage of folks, then really we have to remember, change that mindset to selling is service. You are actually helping them. And by you not selling to them, you're actually doing more harm than good because they need what you have, right? They need what you have. They're waiting for somebody to be like, hey, I can help you with that problem. Here you go. But because you're too afraid, you're too uncomfortable, you feel too icky, now that person has to suffer longer or wait for the next person to come by with hopefully as decent of an offer as you have, right? Because you're the best. So now they got a subpar thing. It's going to take them twice as long, cost them twice as much because you were uncomfortable and you wouldn't give them what they need. Let me let that sink in with y'all for a little bit. Let me let it sink in with y'all for a little bit. We got to do better, right? So let's talk about some barriers to effective selling. And if you're in the house, feel free, you can comment. I will make sure I'm glancing at my comments and things like that. All right, so let's dive into this. So what are some barriers to effective selling? Well, the first one is giving information isn't the same as offering transformation. And we kind of touched on this at the beginning of the conversation. Yes, it's important to give information to lay the groundwork, but it's also just as important to explain the transformation what you do has. And some people are like, well, maybe it's not a huge transformation. Well, we can be real simple. I like a Vitamix tool, right? I'm big on like cool appliances that can do multiple things. And I remember me wanting this Vitamix tool. I had been following creators on social media and they were into making their own dressings and smoothies, and it didn't need a bunch of water, so it wasn't watering it down, and you could juice them, and you could do it all. And it was expensive. And I remember telling my family, like, hey, y'all, like, hey, fam. I was like, my birthday coming up, Christmas coming up. Like, y'all hook a girl up with a Vitamix. And I remember explaining like all the things this thing could do, like all the problems this thing could solve for me. And because I was able to explain the transformation it was going to have in my life, right? I'm not going to have to do watered down smoothies, which is going to make me spend less on, groceries, because I love a smoothie like almost every day. I was like, I can have healthier dressings because I was trying to pitch to them like it's going to be healthy for my life. I was like, because I can make my own dressings. I was like, it lasts for a long time because it's a great product. All these people use it. I mean, I was going, giving them all the reasons why I needed this tool. Now, what in real life, like thinking about it, is this something that was like groundbreaking, earth shaking? I needed it, I was going to die? No. Did I get that Vitamix? Absolutely, because I was able to explain to my family that this was going to be transformative. That's exactly how I got my Ninja Foodie Deluxe too, by the way. Because I was like, I can do this, and this, and it'll save me time, it'll save me money, it'll was easy to clean, so we ain't got to buy this much on dish detergent. Like, it don't, I think some of you think too hard. Like, you're like, it has to solve every problem. And they're like, no, it just has to solve one major thing they're struggling with, right? People buy pencils every day. Pencils don't change lives, but if you ain't got a pencil and you need a pencil, then you're struggling. You have a problem. So, not saying that you guys are selling things that are not important, but I just want you to kind of get it out your head that it has to be this thing that like is above and beyond, anything people can imagine. I promise you, if you spent the time to think about this and you've done your research, you've created an offer that is going to help somebody with a pain point, with a struggle, with a challenge, then you should be able to clearly talk to the fact of what this is going to do for them in their lives, right? How's it going to transform their life? How's it going to move them from where they are, which is an unhappy place, to a happier place? Keep it simple. Many people avoid sales language out of fear of sounding pushy as well. And so some people don't want to say like buy now, register now, enroll today because they're like, oh, I don't want people to feel like I'm trying to be pushy. Maybe I'll just kind of put a link and see what people do. Guys, there's something that just irks my nerves when I want to buy something and I don't know how to buy it. It's frustrating. You do not want to frustrate your folks. You want to make it super simple, super easy. To just let them know, like, hey, here's the next step. If you're liking what I'm saying, this is the next step for you. Scan the QR code, right? Take straight to the landing page. Here's the link. Here's the sign up. Here's tap your card, whatever it is. People need to be directed to the next step so that they can take the next step. It's not about being pushy. It's about allowing them the easiest way to get access to the thing that they want. Okay. And when you skip your call to actions, right, those CTAs, or assume people will kind of figure it out, you're missing on opportunity because some people don't have time nor energy. Like if I gotta do too much, I'm gonna move on to the next person or the next thing. I'm gonna take, some people like, Lord, you must not have wanted me to have it. Like they're like, no, I'm good. And that's because yes, I want this thing. Yes, I believe I need it. But if it's going to be, I gotta answer a 2-page survey, and then I gotta go and watch a video, and then I gotta read through a PDF, do all these steps, sell my soul over. Like I don't want it that bad. And some of you are doing that. Some of you are making it so hard to get the thing. And I get sometimes you want to weed out the folks that are not right for an offer, but we have to be smart about how we do that while also making it simple enough for folks to do business with us. Because I tell clients all the time when they come to me, they're like, I want them to do this survey first so I know if they're the right client. That survey better be 5 questions or less. It better be real simple. You better figure out, throw it in some type of AI and be like, I want this information to make sure they're the right client. Give me 5 questions that's going to sum this up. Because if it's 10, 20, and I've seen some long forms, they're pretty much onboarding forms. People ain't got time for that because I may not even know if this is right. I may not even know the price yet, right? This may be high ticket. I'm not filling out an onboarding form if I don't even know if I work with you. Because I don't know you like that to be giving you all my information. Right? Once I say yes and sure, I'm invested now. I'll do whatever I need to do, onboarding, watch a video, whatever the case may be. But prior to that, absolutely not. And I also want you guys to think, if you're like, you don't believe me, think about programs that you purchased, offers that you've taken advantage of. Did they make you jump through hoops, or did they explain the transformation and then quickly offer you a way to take advantage of it? Okay, if it works for them, it'll work for you. So let me give you a few more examples before we move on, so that you can kind of see, how this works. All right, so you describe your program and all the features, but never actually say, this is how they can join, right? This is, again, you educating but not selling. So let's fix this. When you're we kind of talked about this. When you're doing that, when you're just listing a ton of features because it sounds good to you, you're like, yeah, I'm giving you this, and this. That sounds cool. But again, transformation, what are they struggling with? How does it fix it? You can mention a few quick features and then get them to the sale, right? Maybe you're posting tips every week, but never mention your offer. What's the result going to be if you do that? Your audience sees you're helpful, but probably not hireable, right? Because you like, I don't know that I need to work with you. You may just be a good Samaritan out here spreading the good word. But I don't know what offers you have. I don't know price points. I don't know who you've helped in the past. So I don't know to do business with you. Here's another one. You tell them that they should do whatever, but never show them how working with you gets them there, right? So you're saying, hey, you should do X, Y, and Z, but you're not showing them how to actually do those things. And so they're like, right? They leave educated because they know more than they did, but they're not enrolling in anything because you haven't shown them that anything is going to change, right? They know that they're doing stuff wrong, but you're not explaining how the change is actually going to happen. All right, so those are just a couple of examples. So we're going to move on. Because like I said, I'm going to get you in and out here. Let's move to the next question. All right. So what's the real benefit your clients get? And are you saying in a way that they can feel it, right? That they can feel it deep, 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 deep down inside. Are you saying it in a way that they really understand the value? You know what I'm gonna do, guys? Give me 1 second. We're gonna try it again. Sorry, my dog needed to get out the room. I was like, oh, I kept looking over there. I was like, I'm gonna get distracted because she was struggling for a second. All right. So back to this. So what's the real benefit your clients get? And are you saying it in a way that they can feel? Because again, if you are just saying you're gonna get a ton of features, it's like yay, but oftentimes people don't even know that they wanted those features. They don't know how those features work together to benefit them. They just know what they're struggling with and where they want to go. They know where they are, where they want to be. All right. So you got to keep that in mind as you start to sell. So let's talk more about communicating value clearly without, again, diving into a bazillion features. So don't just talk about what you do, right? I'm a coach. Cool. And frame the results. So I help coaches and consultants stop just getting educated and feeling the warm and fuzzies when they go to events and actually execute the things that they want to get accomplished in their business, right? We help them, that course that they've been wanting to create, we help them create that course and get in front of their audience. The pitching they want to do for more speaking gigs, we help them create a pitch script and actually set realistic goals around pitching and landing actual speaking gigs, right? So you tell them, hey, what do you do? But also, what results do your clients get with working with you? Use their language, not industry lingo. I don't know what it is about people who do ads, but they talk, boy, the words just be like going, like in one ear, not the other. I'm like, what are you saying? Yeah, you know, and the analytics, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, so can you run an ad? What's the budget gonna be? Like, what's the results you've had? Like, I get so frustrated whenever I talk to an ads person because they be talking and using words that it's like, these are not real words. You cannot be speaking English. So, you have to remember that, yes, you're an expert in your field. You know all the things, you know all the abbreviations, you know all the tech that's around it, but your audience doesn't always know those things, right? And it's not really their job to. If they knew everything you knew, they wouldn't need you. Let's be clear. And so make sure you're using language that makes sense to help them, right? Keep it simple. And I learned this back in the day when I was really trying to become a better speaker. I was in Toastmasters. Some of you may have heard that nonprofit organization that helps adults become better speakers and leaders. They should pay me for that. But anyway, but when I was there, we kind of talked about that. Really kind of talking at the lowest level you could without being rude, basically. So there's definitely a difference between, like, say you were a kindergarten teacher talking to little children. There's a way you're going to talk to kindergartners, even though you are a college educated person. And then say you're a doctor, there's a way you're going to talk to doctors, right? Maybe you're a doctor doing a conference, right? There's a way that you're going to talk to that audience. You're not going to talk to them like they're kindergartners and vice versa. However, there's no need to use the most big words and abbreviations here, there, and everywhere to get your point across. Like, say it in the most simplest way that is not going to be rude to them, where they're like, why is this person talking down to me? So that you can easily communicate with them. Because if people are, one, feeling like you're trying to be condescending, or two, feeling like they have no clue what you're saying, that's going to be a barrier to your sales. Because if I'm taken out of the conversation because I'm like, what is that? Or who are they talking to? I'm not going to build that connection with you. I'm not going to want to buy. And speak in terms of what they'll gain, what the problem they'll solve that you're solving, or the struggle that will no longer be there, right? This is how we connect with their emotions. I know a lot of you've been just features. I'm going to give you all these sessions. I'm going to give you these bonus things. I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you that, and you're going to have this, and it's worth this much, but we're going to give you for this much. Like, there's a time and a place, but before you even get to that point, you have to make them care, right? You have to make them realize that this is something that they've actually always wanted, but maybe not known exactly what it was called, right? Because you've named it something really cool. So what will they gain from working with you? What will the experience be like for them? What problem will you solve? They've really been struggling, right? Up at night, stressed out, right? Just how are they going to get through this? You're going to help them with that. Because once you lock into their emotions and you are able to convey that you are really going to help them move the needle in their lives from wherever they are to where they want to be, now they're like, bet, how you going to do that? Now you can throw a couple features at them, let them know the cost, and then keep it rolling. Let's do a few examples here. All right, so one way to practice this is to take one feature of your service and rewrite it as a transformation, right? That's one way you can do it. Instead of saying, I help with back-end systems, right? You can say, I help you stop drowning in admin work so you can actually grow your business, right? So that's just changing it up. Instead of saying, I offer implementation coaching, this one's for me, I can say, I help you stop starting and finally finish the projects that move the needle. That's what I do, y'all. Instead of saying we optimize operations, we can say we clean up the chaos behind the scenes so your business runs even when you take a break, right? Do you see the difference? Because a lot of you are leading with the first one. You're saying we optimize operations, right? But it's like, well, okay, how? How, Sway? And if you change it up to really, like I said, that emotional pull, because right now they're feeling like chaos is crazy, you know, everything's all over the place. They can never leave the business because it'll fall to ruin. It's like, nope, we clean up the chaos behind the scenes so your business will run even when you take a break. Hallelujah. That's what I've been looking for. So we got to start thinking this. And the cool part is, y'all, we live in 2025. I was about to say 2026, but we ain't there yet. You can throw these things, the things you normally say that aren't converting, you can throw those into some AI and be like, hey, change the statement to make it more of an emotional connection with my audience so that I stop explaining what I do and start explaining the transformation that this makes in their lives. Like, we ain't got to work harder, y'all. We can work smarter. Just throwing it out there. All right, next question. What if selling didn't feel like pushing, but the helping, right? And I told you, selling a service. And it's hard, I know, to kind of make that shift sometimes. And that's just something that you get better with practice. But also, you have to explain it to yourself. If you feel like you are taking advantage of individuals, why? Is it because your product isn't as good as it should be? Like, people are not actually getting what they need out of it? Maybe you need to tweak your offer. Is it because maybe you feel they can't afford it? Then do market research, find out what your competitors are selling it for, interview some potential clients, and get the feedback. Because sometimes people would pay more than you think, right? You like, I don't think people pay $100 for this, and they would pay $1,000, right? But you're just in your head. Ask the folks, do the research, right? We gotta stop working from emotions and work with the data. We have to be data-led entrepreneurs. If your competitors are out here selling this offer for $10,000 and you're selling it for $1,000, people are probably going to be like, I don't know if that one really worked, because I done looked at 10 people and all of them is in the thousands, the thousands, and this person's $100. Like, something's up, right? So that may be costing you just because you're afraid to ask the value that your product really is. So yes, we can look at some things to make sure that we are being ethical with our selling, but a lot of times that's not typically the issue. It's more so just a mindset thing, because if you do the research, right, you do the market research, the competitor research, if you really work hard on your projects and your offers, and you know that it's going to transform somebody's life, usually the hang up is that you just are uncomfortable selling. And if that's the issue, then let's put something in place to help get you through that. And then again, the more people that lives are transformed and that you help, the easier it's going to be, right? Because I'm all about taking action. The easier it'll be for you, because you will see that people got probably 10 times the value of what you charge. All right, so I hope that helps a little bit. All right, so let's get into our last point of the night, kind of closing without being pushy. So you can be nice in these calls, right? I don't like calls where people are real like, you really wanted it, you find the money. Like, we ain't doing that. But you can ask permission to share how you can help someone, right? And I'll give you some examples at the end. but you can ask permission from them to be like, hey, can I share this with you? Can I share how this could, do some things to solve a problem, help, overcome a struggle you're having? You could give clear next steps, right? Not open-ended suggestions. So funny enough, you guys are gonna see this because I refuse to re-record it. But I was recording some content this weekend, and my CTA, right, my call to action, I was like, yeah, if you something like if you feel like if you're it sounded like if you feel like it, then book a call or something like that. It was horrible, but I was tired. It was like one of the last videos I had done, like 20 videos before that. I was tired, and it was funny because we were editing it today. I was teaching my assistant how to do some things in our editing software, and the more she replayed it, because we're editing that section, it started getting worse and worse to my ears. And she was like, it sounds like you were like, hey, if you got some time, if it's not too much of a bother, if you feel so inclined, then maybe, possibly, you should book a call. And that's how a lot of you guys are offering people your services. It's like, no, just be confident, be concise, and offer them the next steps. So that it's not so open of like, hey, maybe if you feel like it, because when you leave that big gap, people will see that as like a way out. Like, well, they don't even sound too sure. I don't need to move forward. All right. And confidence doesn't mean pressure, it means clarity. Know your offer in and out, know your numbers in and out. If there is a fast action bonus, if there is payment plans available, if there are unique things that you have that maybe your competitors don't have, know your offer in and out, because that will allow you to sell more confidently. If you are really struggling and you don't know, like if somebody, maybe you are on a call with someone and they have an issue that maybe is not exactly the best, like they're not exactly a good fit for your offer, but you're like, I need some money, right? you up here trying to make it fit, right? You trying to make a square box fit into a round hole, and it's just like, don't do that, right? You're not going to be confident in it. So make sure that you are able to confidently talk about your offer to the right people in the right way. So let me go ahead and give you some examples so you can get out of here, right? All right. So let's do an example. Instead of saying you should sign up, right? Say, would it be helpful if I walked you through how I can support you with whatever the struggle is, right? That's asking for permission. Instead of saying, let me know if you're interested, right? When are they going to tell you this, right? You can say, if it sounds like what you need, here's a link to book a free call. Let's make a plan, right? Instead of trying to convince them on the spot, you can say, I'm confident in what I offer and I'd love to explore it if it's a fit. No pressure either way. And I'm big with this one. No pressure either way. Because I know by the time I finish a call, like they want it. You know what I mean? But I'm big on saying, like, no pressure. Like, I'm not going to hold you hostage on this call. Like, here's the link. We can take care of it. If it's not a good fit right now, no worries. We're going to be here. And a lot of times they come back. Or they'll be like, you know what, I'll just go ahead and sign up. Right? So those are some things to think about. So let's recap a little bit. We talked about talking about not just educating people, but actually getting them to the sale, right? So you're talking, not selling. We talked about the value must be framed in a way that your audience actually understands and connects with it, right? Connecting to the emotion, to the heart of the problem, and then having confidence and clarity to close deals, right? Know your numbers, know your stuff, know the value. All right, so what's your challenge for the week? Because there is always a challenge. All right, so this week, I want you to make three clear offers this week, right? Not different offers, but just like 3 people. You can do it in your content, you can do it in DMs, you can do it on a call, but you got to offer something at least 3 times this week. Tag me or message me when you're done, because I want to be able to celebrate with you. I want to be like, yes, you did it. And let's normalize selling with ease. It doesn't have to be this big thing, this big hurdle, the whole sweaty palms, and all the things. Like, we know that you are here to offer something that's going to change people's lives in a good way. You know that you're someone of integrity. You know you're an expert in your field. Let's get out here and help people. Okay. And then I mentioned to you guys, and let me make this bigger on my side. There we go. I mentioned to you guys, if you stay to the end, whether you're watching live or the replay, that I had a little announcement. So let me go ahead and do my little announcement here. So before you go, I just want to invite you to something special I'm doing. Um, it'll be August 1st. So not the end of this month, but the beginning of next month. So August 1st, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be hosting a free master class. Now, we ain't done master classes in a while, y'all, and it's my fault because your girl's been busy doing other things. But I decided, I love these Monday Night Live talks, but like I said in the beginning, a lot of times we don't get to get as deep as I want to, and so I want to spend about an hour really walking you guys through some things. And so the master class, like I said, August 1st, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called Close the Call: How to Confidently Convert Clients Without Feeling Pushy. Okay, because I know that's the the thing that's really getting you right. You're just like, I just don't know. So we're gonna help you with that. We're gonna be breaking down what actually works on sales calls, from first question to final close. If sales calls make you nervous, I get it. Or if people keep telling you, I'll think about it, then this is gonna be for you, right? Because I know some of you are getting people on calls, but because of how you're saying things, or basically how you're saying things, how you are not really able to create a clear understanding for them of the transformation it's going to be in their lives in an emotionally connected way. That's why you're not making these sales. So I'm also going to give you, right, because I'm always going to give you a little bonus. Anyone who registers will get a sales call script template. Because I used to be a yapper on these calls, and sometimes I still have a good time, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. But I used to be a yapper, and I would give all this value and basically turn a sales call into a coaching call. And people would love it. And sometimes people would buy because they're like, if you can do it in 30 minutes, I know you'll be able to help me. But I looked at the data, right? Again, data driven entrepreneurship. I looked at the data, and when I used a sales call, they still got value. Like when I used the script, they got value, but they also converted at a higher level because we were able to really hit certain things that I knew led to sales. So we're going to give you a sales call script that you can customize and then use right away. No fluff, just results. Okay. So if you're tired of, just having those great conversations that do not convert to sales, to ka-ching, to them swiping their card, come learn how to change that. And in order to get the registration link, I'm going to put in the comments, but you can also comment close below, and I'll make sure you get a personal invite to register. Now, this is free. We will record it. Now, I always say this, you gotta register to be able to get the replay. The replay will only be available for 7 days after the event. Okay? Please do not, one, not register and then ask for the replay. And then two, don't register, know you're not coming, and then don't watch the replay in 7 days. I want you to be there so you can ask questions, because we will have time for Q&A. We'll be together for about an hour and a half. If you cannot make it, because I get, it's a Friday night, maybe you're out here wilding in the streets, at least you will have access to the replay and to the sales script. Okay. And my goal is to try to do these master classes again, like once a month, like we used to, just so that you are able to really implement. Now, I don't give you a challenge every week for 4 weeks, so you should have been implementing. But if you haven't, or if you need more support, these master classes will do just that. I'm going to be teaching them, at least most of them. That's our projection. I might bring in some guest speakers here or there, but this is the opportunity for you to really hone in on your sales, especially if you're doing high ticket sales calls. So August 1st, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, free masterclass. So join me in Close the Call: How to Confidently Convert Clients Without Feeling Pushy. And also, guys, as always, if you are saying, Corey, I want to work with you, don't know how, but I like your style, you can always use this link to book a free strategy call or scan that QR code, because we are here to support you in whatever you need. All right. All right, so we got done 45 minutes exactly. I told you we gonna get you in and get you out. Also, shout outs to the iRock podcast. If you haven't been tuning in, definitely tune in. We have some great entrepreneurs up there this season. This season has been so fun just to watch it roll out. Because we got some of the baddest people on the block. So definitely check it out if you have not done so already. But I will talk to you guys soon. Remember, I rock, you rock, we all rock. Until next Monday. In the journey of entrepreneurship, success is often about having the right guidance and tools at your fingertips. Welcome to iRock Marketable Business Solutions, your compass to business excellence. We understand that as a service-based small business owner, your path to success is unique. That's why iRock offers a wide range of coaching and consulting services tailored to your needs. Imagine gaining the knowledge you need from the comfort of your own home. Explore our quick on-demand webinars, courses, and toolkits designed to accelerate your business growth. But we go beyond that. Join our vibrant community in our group coaching programs, or experience personalized guidance with our one-on-one coaching and consulting services. At iRock, every program comes with incredible bonuses. These bonuses are designed to support you on your journey, helping you bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be. Some of our bonuses include expert speaker sessions, group Q&A calls, guides, checklists, scripts, and more. Ready to supercharge your business journey? Explore our coaching and consulting services. Get the guidance and tools you need to reach your goals. Empower your business with iRock Marketable Business Solutions.